Even in our homeschool journey, like now that we're farther along, I'm realizing all the things that I thought were so important when my first was in kindergarten isn't important. I remember how much time I spent on certain units, and now I ask them and they're like, I don't even remember that.
Hey everyone, this is Yvette Hampton. Welcome back to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast. I'm back with Abby, and we are doing our school year kickoff. We talked on Monday a little bit about kind of our summers and what went on, and they were kind of crazy. We both it wasn't exactly what either of us had planned, but God had different plans for us. And it's been neat just to watch that unfold, and it's been hard in a lot of ways for both of us, but the Lord got us through it. And now here we are at the beginning of a new school year and ready to jump in with both feet. And you know, just like the summertime doesn't always unfold the way that we think it's going to, the school year's not going to either.
No, it's not.
News flash.
Here's a little dose of reality.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, you talked about, you know, we can plan our steps, but God has a way of sometimes changing things up for us. And so our plans that we make need to be held loosely, and we need to trust him day by day. I mean, I find literally day by day that we've got to trust him.
Right.
To
moment
be able
by
to
moment,
do.
I feel like.
Yes.
Because even as a homeschool mom, you start one way in the morning, and by the afternoon,
oh yeah,
everything can fall apart. And so it's literally, it is a moment by moment.
Yes. Yeah. But God is so faithful, and I'm so thankful that we don't have to do this on our own without him. He is good, and he will guide us step by step through the way. So anyway, we're going to get back into talking about this upcoming school year and what we've got going on with that. But before we do, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, BJU Press Homeschool. If you guys are looking for great homeschool curriculum from a solid biblical worldview, check them out at bjupresshomeschool.com. They have something for every grade, every subject, every age. They have a ton of resources, and they are amazing. So check them out, bjupresshomeschool.com. And if you don't know what you need, talk to one of their consultants, and they will help walk you through whatever your needs are. Well, again, if you missed Monday's episode, go back and listen to that, and you will know why my voice is a little bit raspy today. I'm getting over a nasty head cold, but I made it through, and I'm thankful.
You
for
survived?
That, I survived it.
Wow.
Yeah, I discovered that Benadryl severe allergy
was the magic potion.
It was the magic potion. That's what got me to finally be able to sleep without my head being stuffed up and feeling like I was full of helium. So yeah, it was great. So
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you lived through it.
I am too. Apparently the Lord had plans for me to be here.
Yes.
So, you know, as we're thinking through the next school year, I kind of want to go back to the why. And we've talked a lot about this. We've done a whole episode on the why of homeschooling, and really like, what is the heart of our homeschool? And so I want to bring you and I kind of back into focus, and our listeners as well, as to like, why think about that, because I feel like we sometimes just get back into the mode of, okay, curriculum planning and schedule planning. And what are we doing with sports? What are we doing with all the things? And we plan it all out, but we forget to think again about our why. Why are we doing this? And more, we see the homeschool world changing so very drastically. And I see more and more people running away from traditional school, especially public schools, but they don't know what they're running to.
Right.
And I feel like people are almost running like they're in chaos. They're not sure what direction to go.
Right. They know they don't want to be there, but they don't know what, I mean, let's do the homeschool thing, but they don't know what that is. Right.
And of course, you know, most new homeschool moms think, okay, we're just going to bring our kids home and we're going to just replicate school at home, which we've talked about that a million times. Like that does not work. You know, in some senses it does, but it's not just bringing the classroom into your home, because then you get discouraged and then you put it back in school and all the things. So we really have to think about our why. And that's kind of what we talked about on Monday, is like, what are we trying to do with our kids? And we talked about Ecclesiastes 12:13 and how, you know, the end of the matter is to love God and to keep his commandments. Like that's the whole duty of man, is to just focus our hearts on the Lord. So if you are a Christian parent who is homeschooling, your focus should be to point your kids to Jesus every day in every way.
And you can do that in math, and you can do that in language. But if you are doing this is math, this is language, this is history, and then we sprinkle Jesus into each subject, I'm telling you, it's going to fail. It's going to fall apart. It has to be first. And again, we did this on Monday, but Psalm 127, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. It will fall apart. You will get discouraged. I mean, the Bible says that the storms are going to come. They're going to come. Yeah. The question is, are you going to stand or are you going to cave? And the only way you're going to stand is if, what Yvette said, the foundation of what you're doing is pointing our kids to Christ. And then you build math upon that and you build language upon that. And then when language doesn't turn out to like you're falling apart because it's not working, you haven't lost the foundation of Christ. You can just re-gear on language, but not on Jesus, right?
Yes, absolutely. I told you on Monday that we went to the Culture Proof Conference in Tennessee this summer. And one of the speakers there was Dr. Kathy Cook. And I had never heard her speak. It's so funny because I've heard a lot about her. And I had never actually heard her speak. I've never heard an interview with her or anything like that. And she was a really powerful speaker. One of the things that she talked about in her session was that our prayer should be to walk rightly with Jesus. Like because when we pray, we often ask, Lord, protect us, which yes, that's an important thing to ask, please provide for us. Yes, that's an important thing to ask.
Right.
We ask for all these things. But what our focus really should be is that we would walk rightly with Jesus and grow in our faith. And I was so just struck by that. And I thought, that's really it. Like, that's the most important thing, is that we would have a right relationship with the Lord and grow in our faith and pass that on to our kids. And so trying to keep those two things in perspective.
That's so good.
Really for our why of what we're doing. Right. Why are we doing this?
Right.
So that our kids will walk rightly with Jesus and grow in their faith.
And that means when everything's falling apart around you, can you still walk rightly with Jesus through that and grow in your faith? Yes. Yeah. Right? When everything is falling apart, when you get the most horrible news or school isn't working, if that's what you're building it on, those two things, that doesn't change. You can do those two things through the darkest moments.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. And let me just say in that, when we go through really hard times, it doesn't mean that our walk is always going to be upright and straight and solid and strong.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, our family has been through some really difficult times.
Right.
Where, yes, exactly. We feel like we're crawling.
Right. Sometimes we're skipping the Lord and sometimes we're crawling.
Right. And, where the Lord is having to literally hold us up. Yeah. And I mean, again, you think about a baby learning to walk, as their parents, you're holding their hands and they're taking a couple of steps at a time. And sometimes I feel that way. I feel like, man, Lord, I can't walk on my own. Right. I am falling down. But God is so faithful and he holds on to us.
Yeah.
And he does help us to walk. He is our strength. Right. And so, man, the older I get, I'm going to be 50 this year, Abby.
What?
I know, in November.
Oh my
November
word.
21st, you guys, just so you all know, my 50th birthday is November 21st.
Okay, so I don't want to
tattoo that on your hand.
I don't want to
not a permanent
derail us.
Tattoo.
Okay,
like
just
a henna tattoo.
I don't want to derail us, but do you color your hair? Because you have no gray.
No, I do not color my hair. I have not. I used to color it like darker just for fun.
Dark hair get gray. Like with blondes, you don't really see the gray, but that's impressive. Look at you. I have
maybe like 10 gray hairs. This is so funny. I refuse to pull them because, the old wives' tale that if you pull it, more will grow.
Then more will come.
I refuse to test that out.
Yeah.
So I have like these little scissors. And so like when they grow into little pieces, I literally just cut it like at,
But why don't you just embrace them? Because they're the most beautiful women.
Well, here, if you have like a whole
natural
head of gray hair, yes. But when I have like 10 like random like sticking up.
Okay.
Because my hair's so dark, it just looks weird. So I just cut them. And I only have like 10 that I have to.
Well, when you get like 40, just embrace it because it would give a pretty dimension.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. You could wait till 55. Okay, November 21st, everybody make note.
It's so funny though. I know we were way derailed here.
Wait, go back.
When I was at the hospital with my my mom, one of the nurses thought I was in my 30s. And I was like, 30s?
Did you hug her?
I was like, thank you. That it was just such a compliment. So
okay, funny. But here's the reality. It's because the Bible tells us that that it's internal. Our beauty is coming from within. So when you were in the hospital, you'll always be 30 because you are thinking about walking rightly with Jesus,
right,
and growing in your faith. So that's what I'm hoping as I age. I'm like, man, I really better get pretty inside because the outside is going fast.
Oh my goodness. So funny. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Yeah, everyone mark that on your calendars. November 21st, Yvette's 50th birthday. I expect a gigantic surprise party with all of our podcast listeners to come to Tulsa.
But I think what you were saying is as you're getting ready to turn 50, you're learning these things, right? You're starting to realize.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about walking rightly with Jesus and growing in our faith.
See, now I'm totally fixated on my birthday.
No.
And not only, I'm just going to keep going with this. Not only is it going to be my 50th birthday, but Garrett and I got married just a couple of weeks after we both turned 20. Oh. And so it's going to be our 30th anniversary. You know. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Okay, so.
Out there. Yes, the older I get, that's where I was going with all of this. The older I get, the more I just realize how important my walk is with the Lord. Right. And that we are going to face trials sometimes that seem unbearable.
Right.
And if we're not walking in truth, I mean, I even think about like 3 John verse 4. That's another one of my favorite verses. It says, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in truth.
Right.
And we need to walk in truth so that our children can walk in truth. And I truly have no greater joy. I mean, I've told my girls, like, there's nothing that matters to me more than than you walking with the Lord.
Right. Right.
Walking rightly with the Lord and growing in your faith with him. Like that's all I really care about.
Do you also notice though, as we get older, so we're realizing what's truly important, but are you also realizing that all the things you thought were important, all the things you held high mass over, like even in our homeschool journey, like now that we're farther along, you know, and we have high schoolers and we're getting and graduates like that, I'm realizing all the things that I thought were so important when my first was in kindergarten isn't important. I remember how much time I spent on certain units and now I ask them and they're like, I don't even remember that.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that was a lot of work and money. And it just helped me go, you know what? Those aren't the things. I mean, yes, they matter. We're called to give our kids an excellent education because we want to do everything in excellence, but we hold such high mass over the things. But you know what they do remember? Sitting and reading with me, waking up and having breakfast, just being together and making memories and pointing them. Like, I just think about this summer.
Yeah.
Every plan we had was derailed because Jesse's dad was, you know, going downhill fast and died. And I thought they had the most impactful, educational, incredible summer ever this summer because it was God's plan, not mine. And they learned the things that really, really do matter.
Yeah. And them then taking that and us taking that to impact God's kingdom.
Yes,
right?
For sure.
I mean, because then you follow that with, you know, our goal is to live for Jesus, is to walk rightly with him, to grow in our faith, but also to know him and to impact his kingdom. Right. And we can't do that if we don't know him. I've talked before about Coram Deo. This is our Latin lesson for the day.
Okay.
Coram Deo. I sign every newsletter, every email. It is another like on the forefront of my mind often. And Coram Deo means to live one's entire life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God.
Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible. Like when you think about that, it's so, it sounds easy, but it's not easy. It's intentional.
No, that would take our entire life to focus on if that's all we focus on, that's enough.
Yep. Living in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, for sure.
And so as we're looking to this new school year and we're looking at curriculum and we're getting all anxious and worked up over, are we going to do it right? How are my kids going to respond? You know, what character qualities do we need to work on with our kids? How is my schedule going to look? Am I going to be able to get it all done?
Right.
Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Like that is what matters the most. Yes. Seek first the kingdom of God.
Yep.
Live for him. Live for his glory. And it's all going to be fine. So we need to just calm down.
Calm the heck down, people, is what you're saying.
Abby just said heck on the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast.
Calm down in case. Calm down, everyone.
Calm down, everyone, and stay focused on Jesus.
First. Yeah, I mean, that's really what I love it. I love what you said. That is the verse, is seek first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
You know, and then math will be handed to you, and then language will be handed to you. Yeah. And, I mean, those aren't the first things, but they are things that we still need to be doing.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that we just don't do anything.
Right.
Exactly. Obviously we still have to do what the Lord's called us to do.
Well, even the Bible tells us that, like, as we're waiting for Jesus, we're not supposed to just sit around and twiddle our thumbs. I mean, we do have work to do. God does have a calling for our kids. God does have a future. We are raising boys that are going to be providers. So they do need an education. We are raising women who are going to be heads of home, which takes a boatload of education, right? Yeah. So we're not saying don't educate. We're just saying, again, let the Lord build the house. Like, it has to be founded on the most important things, and then build the other things up from there. Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Have you tried CTC Math yet with your child? Here's a testimonial from another happy homeschool mom. Amber said, "I'm absolutely thrilled with CTC Math. It's a rare find that I've used with my children for more than 5 years now. I have 6 children using CTC Math, and each child has found it easy to navigate and very applicable. Thank you so much for all that you are doing in providing quality math lessons for my children." If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com. That's ctcmath.com. Are you looking for a homeschool curriculum that goes beyond textbooks and truly engages your children in the joy of learning? Apologia's award-winning curriculum is written by homeschool parents to specifically meet your needs and captivate your students with hands-on activities and experiments that make learning unforgettable. With an easy-to-follow, open-and-go format, Apologia takes the stress out of planning and provides a simple roadmap that can easily be tailored to your family's needs. Explore live classes or self-paced courses designed to accommodate every student's unique learning style. Elevate your child's education, spark their curiosity, and nurture a lifelong love for learning with Apologia. Discover Apologia today at apologia.com. We are back with Aby Rinella. Real quick. Okay. I don't want to park here too long. Okay. But just as I've been thinking about like what we're doing with the school year and about, the fear that so many of us have going into this new school year. And we have talked so many times in our Christmas episodes, you and I, Abby, about Esther and Mary, the mother of Jesus, and how God has called, Daniel, he's called all these people his disciples, and they were just ordinary people that God called to do extraordinary things. Right. And I think keeping that in perspective is another important thing, because we tend to think sometimes that like, I'm not going to do it right. I'm going to mess this up because I'm not an expert in this field of education. And how am I going to teach my kids all the things that they need to learn? God has given you guys everything that you need to be able to do what he's called you to do. I'm just going to keep saying that. We've said that so many times, but I need that reminder for myself as well. Right. And you're not going to know all the things to teach your kids. You're not. And I tell you what, I have a college degree and a teaching degree, and I still don't know all the things to teach my kids. But you know what I do know what to do is I know how to teach them how to learn, and I know how to learn with them, and I know where to find out how to learn these things. So you're not going to know all the things. Nobody does. Right. It's not possible. No, it's not. The beginning of this summer, maybe it was the end of this school year, I became friends through email and maybe Facebook. I can't remember. We've been Facebook friends with Karen Andriola. She's a Charlotte Mason guru. Okay. And so she's written a bunch of books on Charlotte Mason. And we'll talk about curriculum tomorrow. But I kind of want to kick it off with this, because this was really kind of a funny and interesting thing. I thought at the end of the school year, like all last school year, I was thinking, actually for many years, like I really love the Charlotte Mason method of education. And so I thought, this is what we're going to do. Brooklyn's now graduated. It's just Lacey and I, and we're going to go deep into Charlotte Mason, which I love Charlotte Mason. I think I love her philosophy. Right. And so Karen kind of helped walk me through that. Sonia Schaefer helped walk me through that. I got on a phone call with Sonia, and we talked for a long time, and she kind of walked me through, okay, Lacey's got 5 more years left. Here's the direction that maybe would be good to go, with that. This is what you can cover in the next 5 years. And I was so excited. And then Karen sent me a couple of books. She sent me her mother culture book. Have you seen this book or read it? No. It's so good. Is it awesome? It's not I'll write it down. It's called Mother Culture for a Happy Homeschool. And so I'm still reading through it. And it is one of the best books I have ever read on mothering, on parenting. Wow. Oh, good. It is fantastic. I'm not going to say it makes mothering easy,
but it takes so much pressure off. I don't know. I feel like a lot of parenting books are a little bit rigorous, and I read them and I'm like, man, I'm not doing it right. And so I'm messing it all up and blah. And I don't feel that way with this book. She just gives some really gentle and practical ways on how to mother. And it's a fantastic book. So I've been reading through this, and then I read her other book. I haven't read the whole thing, but read partly through the Charlotte Mason Companion, because she sent this to me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so great. We're going to do Charlotte Mason. It's going to be amazing. And then you know what happened, Abby? I sat down with Lacey and I said, Lacey, what are we going to do for school this year?
Yeah.
And you know what she did? She pulled out a bunch of textbooks. And she went through a catalog and she chose a bunch of textbooks, and she was like, I want to do this, this, and this.
See, because you're teaching to your child, not some sort of.
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, Lacey, you're the one who likes textbooks and worksheets and all that
funny.
Stuff. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
So I now have a stack of textbooks next to me. And that's what we're doing this year. And she's excited about it.
That because this is the thing. We as homeschool moms get in this thing where there's some, my little cousin, I always talk about her because she's like just starting this journey, right? She has her first kindergartner. And she's like, okay, I'm trying to get the philosophies figured out to figure out which philosophy I'm. And I'm like, you don't get to decide what your philosophy is. Like, what you get to do is study your kids and decide what works for your family. Like, every family has a unique philosophy. Now, yes, we're going to be like, okay, I love, and she's so wise for her age. She's like, I'm not going to try to put myself in a box. I'm just kind of want to know what people are talking about. Like when someone says Charlotte Mason, I just want to know what that means. Because we were talking about like, don't put yourself in a homeschool box because your kid might not fit there. But I love that Lacey, that's what our kids will do though. We'll have it all figured out and planned out. And then they'll be like, actually. But I think that's important as we pick is we need to let our kids, this is their education. Like, this is their education. And something I learned along the way is when I let them pick, they are invested. They want to do it. The battle isn't there because they picked it. And this is what else. If it doesn't work and they don't love it, they can't be mad at me. It doesn't fall on me. Like, they chose this, right? Yes. And we'll see it through and then we'll readjust. Right. And we're not saying the philosophies and the ways of homeschooling that are out there, classical, Charlotte Mason, they're good and they're real, but your kid gets to kind of determine that, not what you like, not the pretty things.
Yeah. Right. And it's a beautiful thing. And she's,
you just need to adopt another kid that fits into the Charlotte Mason thing, right?
Well, maybe. Can I have one of yours?
But this is what I said. I'm like, I want more kids because there's more stuff coming out. And I'm like, oh, I love that. And I love this. And I want to do that.
I want Winnie. Can I have Winnie?
Oh, I love Winnie.
She's so cute.
I know.
You want to keep her?
I'm going to keep her. Yeah.
Right. You can keep her. All right.
Okay.
No. I need to go find a neighbor kid or something like that.
Grandkids. You're going to have grandkids.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I'll do Charlotte Mason with my grandkids.
Yeah, totally. You'll just be like, just birth me a Charlotte Masoner.
Right. Because, my girls are going to live next door to me forever. So, I didn't even think about that, Abby.
Yeah,
Good
you just put in your order. Lord, I need a kid that is going to fit Charlotte Mason.
Right.
A grandkid.
But it's great. She's going to be 14 in less than 2 months, which is crazy. And so you're not going to let a child, a little child, direct their education. But I gave her options.
Though,
that's what I did.
But you are going to study your child, and that's going to direct their education because you're going to go, this kid is, I don't know, kinesthetic. And that's going to direct it. You're not going to let a kindergartner be like, I don't do math. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, she knows what she likes. She's excited. She's funny. Good. She's like, I want to do dual enrollment starting next year in 9th grade and get, at least halfway done with college. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay. Whose kid are you?
Wow.
But it's what she is excited about. So
that's awesome.
I gave her options. I kind of directed and said, okay, if you want to do textbooks, here are some options for you. And she was super excited about it. So yeah.
And
so it's going to be a totally different year.
Are excited. I think when our kids are excited, because I'll be honest, I'm excited every year because I love homeschool. Oh yeah. But when the kids aren't excited, then that's when it's a bummer. So I love that when they're excited and you're excited, it's exciting.
Yeah. And I know you guys have your first day of school tradition too. Ours is always, we get donuts. You guys still do that? Yeah. And so I asked Lacey, I was like, so do you want to start like a new tradition since this is going to be the first year with this? And she was like, No, she was like deeply offended that I would ask her to change the tradition.
That's so funny.
She was like, no, why would I want to change it? We've always done donuts.
Oh, that's
okay,
so cute.
Sorry.
That's how Winnie is.
Sorry.
She is so set in her, like, do not change anything.
Yeah.
I can't say it because I'm in my room / recording studio, which is really just my bedroom. And the kids are right on the other side, but we're going to do it a little different this year. Okay, I'll whisper. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so instead of having donuts at the counter, I'm going to wake up and have them all ready for school, and then we're going to go out, which you guys do that, right?
Yeah.
You go out. We usually
I would never make a donut at home. What are you talking about?
No. We just usually have them at home, and then we start our day.
Like you go out and buy them.
Yeah. So we're going to go out, and then we're going to come home, and rather than like start school, because usually I let them see all the stuff that we're doing ahead of time.
Yeah.
But then I've realized by the first day, they're like, right? We've already been looking at this. Like mom's been excited since July and it makes them nuts. So I've tried to like not talk school, not let them, so then on the first day, they'll just get to see all the exciting things that they've essentially picked out. They just didn't know that I actually got it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to mix it up a little because I don't know. And I might have chaos because they're like, this isn't how we've always done it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But because we're starting on a Wednesday, so I decided we're going to do that and then get our routines figured out Thursday and Friday. And then we can actually like on Monday be in the groove. I mean, that's my plan, but you know how that works.
Yep. And it's all going to go smoothly.
Perfect.
No
it's going to go perfect
at all.
Every kid will have their script written ahead of time. Yeah, right.
That's how my family rolls too.
Oh,
we're out of time. Let's come back tomorrow. We'll actually get into
actual stuff,
curriculum and what we're doing. But you guys just stay focused on what matters the most. Stay focused on Jesus.
Yeah.
Growing
and building
in your relationships
with your kids.
Oh, I know. So much fun. It's the best part of homeschooling, you guys.
Yes.
Pointing them to Jesus and building relationships with your kids.
Yes.
Do not let curriculum get in the way of that.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You will regret that. Mm-hmm. So, all right. We're out of time. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have not seen the movie, if it is the school year, I still am amazed at how many people listen to this podcast and have not seen the movie. You guys, what are you waiting for?
So there's no excuse.
Free. There's no excuse. No excuse at all. None at all. You can even watch it on your phone, you guys.
What?
Yes. You can, if you're on like a drive somewhere, you can watch it on your phone because you can stream it for free. Schoolhouserocked.com. You can watch it for free. Watch it at the beginning of the school year. It'll encourage you.
Actually, it will. And watch it with your kids. I mean, maybe not young, but it actually put a fire under my kids as to why we're doing what we're doing. Like, it really got them excited.
Yeah. Or watch it with your friends. Have a watch party.
Oh my goodness.
A school year kickoff watch party. And watch Schoolhouse Rocked with your friends. Pop some popcorn. Throw some M&Ms or hot tamales in there. Not at the same time. M&Ms or hot tamales. And
enjoy.
Enjoy. All right. We love you guys. Stay tuned to the very end to hear what's coming up tomorrow. And we will see you back then. Bye.
Laughing in the face of imposter syndrome and coming to you from the epicenter of manly overconfidence, I'm your host, Garrett Hampton, and you are listening to The Thinking Dad.
Even if we're able to push the evildoers and the totalitarians back for another generation, maybe if we work really hard, maybe even 2 generations, if they've got the young people, it's over.
I often think about Daniel's parents, who you don't hear anything about. But they must have laid down the foundation for Daniel to be able to go into Babylon and not fall.
We're in that very beginning part of the cycle for tough times. We've been fat and happy. We've been enjoying we're lazy because we enjoy so much freedom. We got all these blessings, and why would you go do the hard work? And so for a long time now, decades, we haven't had to do the hard work. We've been living on the fumes of previous generations paying the price. And we got to raise the bar and say, I'm willing to give more of my life, that's my time, more of my money, of course, that's our fortune, and more of my sacred honor, which is my reputation. I'm willing to put it all on the line. Every single one of us has to be willing to do that.
Join us for the first season of The Thinking Dad at thinkingdad.net.
It's kind of a whole new season for both of us. You are down to 1, and I'm kind of in this place where I'm starting to have a lot more independence. It's interesting. I'm more in the little days of all the gathering and circle, and we'll still do some of that, but but it's also so cool to see kids be able, like you said, Lacey picked it out, like to see my kids you know, start to gravitate towards things that after all these years, this is what I love. This is what I want to learn. Right. And as I'm watching other kids in the public schools, I'm like, they don't get a choice. Like, this is what you learn your junior year. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you've already done it. I don't care. Like, this is what every single kid. And if you're interested in something different, too bad.